Look, the biggest podcast where you can learn them lessons. Line for line where you can learn from different sections. Made it out the mud, come tell your story, blessings. Never know who listening, never know who stressing. Devon gave you a voice, come speak your honest truth. Line for line, go bar for bar, it's up to you. Wanna talk sports, gov, and politics? Wanna talk about where you from and your accomplishments? The Line for Line is really where you need to be. A platform that's really made for folks like you and me. You can find it all no matter what you seek. Whether you calling or you listening, tune in every week.
All right, just like that, we're back on Line for Line podcast. You already know we have Lester in the building for our Bears Talk on Line for Line podcast. It's been a while, my guy.
It has.
It's been a while. How are you?
I'm doing good, but I'm disappointed. We were supposed to be at camp on Saturday. It got rained out. We were going to do a live hit from camp, but man, it's all good. We're here today talking about the Bears.
Man, I think everyone wants to first start off with Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
We see that he made his way back to practice. He said he's going to play out his contract and bet on himself. What does that mean for you, and what does that mean for him going forward?
This was always the outcome was going to happen. He had no leverage. He went public with his trade demands. It just, it ended up making him look a little salty in the whole deal. He's got $10 million deal, his fifth year right now. He's going to play on that and let the chips fall where they may. I think he's a key part of the defense. I'd love to see him sign long term, but it's a smart negotiation ploy by the Bears. They're playing it right. From what I understand, there's a big deal on the table. Ryan Poles, GM, said it's a record-setting deal. Roquan's problem is there's some de-escalators. He doesn't want his contract declining towards the back end. Plus, in NFL, it's all about the guaranteed money. So if the guaranteed money is there for him, I think he'll sign. I do think something gets done. He did say that there'll be no more talk about contracts this year. He's focusing on football. But I think if something is there on the table and it gets done, I think it may happen.
Yes, sir. Now, if it were up to you, what would a
football player, and like I said, the Bears have him under contract this year. Technically speaking, they have the franchise tag available for the following season, and they can franchise tag him a second time if they wanted. So technically, the Bears had 3 years of control on Roquan still. There's no point in trading him. Plus, he's a perfect fit for the new defense as the weak side linebacker. I think he's going to have a big year this year. If he's healthy, he's going to be outstanding.
Is it safe to say he's the best player on the Bears roster?
Yeah. I mean, he's a 2-time second-team All-Pro. He hasn't made a Pro Bowl, but, that comes and goes. But, again, I talk about the fit in the defense. He's the weak side linebacker. Think back in the day with Lance Briggs, making all them tackles, making all them tackles for loss. He's the chase guy. That's Roquan Smith. He's got the speed. He's got the mentality. He's got the tenaciousness to be a great player in this defense, and I think that's what he'll be.
Okay. Now, with him back, what does that do for the defense? Does that bolster the defense, or do you think it'll still be a subpar season for the defense? What do you think?
Man, it's all about the philosophy. It's that hits principle that Coach Flus hasn't brought in. It's, they track loafs. They want them to go all out all the time. They're always going after the ball. The Charles Tillman peanut punch, they're all doing that. I think the defense is going to be pretty good. I mean, top unit, maybe not. There's still some holes in back there. There's still a lot of young players that have to come through. But if those young guys do ball out, this could be a pretty good defense. It's going to be fun for sure as Bears fans to watch.
Top 5, top 10, top 15.
I think their ceiling maybe top 10. Right about that area. Like I said, it's all got to come together. Brisker, Gordon in the back end. Eddie Jackson bouncing back. If that happens, if the edge rushers come through, I think they got a chance to be pretty good.
Yes, sir. While we're still on the defensive side of the ball, Jaquan Brisker. Tell us a little bit about that thumb injury and what you know about it from your sources.
Just my sources are Twitter. This is how I roll. But no, but for everything I understand, it's a surgery happened. That's the last I heard. He should be okay. It's not a severe injury. The report was that he should be back by week 1. He's a safety. He's not a center. Like the thumb injury to Patrick, it's hard to snap the ball with a cast or so. But if you're a safety, put a club on it, play. As long as he can stand the pain. If there's some pain there, he'll be fine. But I think he'll be back week 1, week 2 at the latest.
Yeah, they were saying that they're pushing for him to get back week 1.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Do you think that's maybe Russian, or we don't know the severity of the injury?
I think it's pain threshold at this point. I mean, they said it's a very minor surgery. Whatever it was fixed already. He had the surgery already. Like I said, you could always club it up, put some pads on it. And if there's no pain, I think he plays.
Yes, sir. Now moving along to the offensive side of the ball, what are you seeing from Justin Fields and his new regime, new physicality? What are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first 2 preseason games he looked up and down, which is to be expected. It's a brand new offense. He's still learning it. You know, the camp practice I did get, if you have a chance to go to, again, same thing, up and down. He's going to be fine this year. He may not be take the leap that fans want him to make, but there'll be a leap there. You know, he's going to take it. You know, he puts too much work in. You know, he has too much talent. You know, he understands the game too good. So I can't see this guy not making a leap where fans say, yeah, I think he's going to be a franchise quarterback moving forward.
Yeah. Now, with the thing on Twitter, a lot of people were saying he just looked absolute horrible. Obviously, you gotta assume that they're holding him back a little bit for the preseason. They're not really going full speed, would you say?
Well, the thing with social media is there's some, even analysts, people that do this for a living nationally, they have agendas. It's like they criticized him coming out, you know, so he has to really, really show that he's got it. I don't know why this is how some people do, but you know, they take shots when they're not necessary. They try and find a reason to criticize when there's no reason to criticize. So I think some of the stuff you hear from a national perspective on social media, I think some of that is just, you know, they just want to really, really be proven he's going to be good. And, you know, at some point, you know, like Bears fans say on Twitter, you know, they're going to pull the receipts and then they're going to show, see, I told you, the take you had last year was wrong. Justin Fields is fine, and I think he'll be okay.
What did you see from the receivers out there that stood out to you? We obviously saw Darnell Mooney go up to make a catch as well, too.
I mean, it's Mooney's the number one. You know, I think they're still kind of working through that. I think Equinemius St. Brown still has the X receiver locked up, or Z. I mean, he'll start one way or the other. He's going to start in there. You know, Byron Pringle, I think he'll be fine.
I don't think we've seen him preseason, right?
He has battling a quad injury, but his place on the roster is secure. He's, you know, they signed him to be I think he's going to be their slot guy. He'll be there. Bayless Jones Jr., we finally had a chance to see him on the game against the Seahawks, and you know his speed popped.
Again, muff punt.
No, that was your boy Daz Newsome off the punt.
Newsome. Excuse me.
Bayless had the 58-yard return, I think it was. So the speed's there, man. I mean, the speed shows up in camp too. They'll use him kind of like in a package every now and again. He's not going to start for you, but that speed, man. You know, when you see him in camp, it shows up. He's got to clean up his route running a little bit, but he's a rookie. You know, he'll get there and he'll be able to make an impact for the Bears this year.
Nice. So you're saying it'll be, Mooney,
Pringle, St. Brown, Jones. I think N'Keal Harry's going to start probably the season on injury reserve. You know, he may be in the mix for something. You know, but those bottom of the depth chart guys, they're still kind of fighting for a job. Tajay Sharp. Dante Pettis. Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, one of these guys will step up. They just put David Moore, a veteran receiver, on IR this morning. So, you know, he's not going to be able to be there, but someone will step up. Simba Webster had a nice game against the Seahawks. So did Isaiah Coulter had a pretty good game. These are bottom of the depth chart guys. It's not a well-known group, but I think in the offense, in the scheme, the way they'll work them in, I think they'll be fine.
Yes, sir. Now, let's talk about this offensive line and all of their woes that they've been having from day one. First off, let's start with Tevin Jenkins.
Yeah.
Started at right guard, was it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Man, I graded his play. I gave him, I think I had like an 82% on him. My grading system is simple. Do your job, you get a plus. Don't do your job, you get a minus. I don't get into these style points that some of these grading systems do. I just, I grade his play. I thought he played pretty good. He has some stuff to clean up in pass protection, but as a run blocker, big, physical, powerful, the nastiness is there. It's just a weird situation. There was an injury, right, that they said he had. Who knows what it was, but he came back, played a little bit of tackle, and then, boom, now he's a guard. And the way this O-line is set up, that's probably his best place to start, and that's where he's been the last week.
Do you think that's where we'll see him week one?
Yeah, I mean, how can you not have him start week one? They signed Michael Schofield, a veteran. He kind of struggled the first game against the Chiefs.
He was from Seattle, right?
Schofield, Chargers.
Okay.
He's from Chicago area, so, I mean, he was excited to come back home and sign in Chicago, but he's a veteran. I think, if he's your backup, I think that's a better case for the Bears because Jenkins has the potential. He has the ability to be a very good guard in this league if he embraces that And it seems like it may have taken him a little while to get there, but I think he's going to embrace it, and I think he's going to thrive at guard.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the issue was with Jenkins and why he was missing practice and things of that nature?
This is just my speculation. You know, I've thought about it. Maybe he just didn't want to play guard. Maybe it was a thing where, you know, the new regime comes in and they're like, "Hey, look, guy, we think you got a chance to be a starting guard for us." And in the long run, tackles make more money. He was drafted as a tackle. The Bears last year said, "You're our left tackle," which is that's the big money spot, right? Left tackle. This regime said, you know, guard. Maybe he just didn't want to move to guard. You know, maybe it's something he had to work through. You know, again, speculation on my part, but but I mean, there was no injury that they talked about. He was in the offseason, you know, hitting at Wrigley Field. He was doing the batting practice, putting balls out on the street. He's not hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe he'll hit us with that Roquan. That situation's behind us.
Yeah.
We like to keep moving forward. Do you remember that interview where they kept asking him, because Roquan Smith missed the game, and they kept saying, "Well, can you just tell us a little bit what happened? What caused you to miss the game?" That situation behind us, the situation personal.
It's personal, yeah.
What do you think happened? Not to get off track or anything like that with that situation as well.
It was it was reported by someone, one of our guys, Bill Zimmerman. He has one of our podcasts on our channel. He reported it was a personal medical situation, and that's all that he wanted to get into. So that's all I'll get into.
Oh my gosh!
It was legitimately something. I know a lot of fans think, you know, I've had fans say he's mentally soft. I'm like, come on, he had an actual medical condition. He had to work through it. He worked through it. Once he was ready to go, he was back, and it was fine. It's now, like he said, it's past him, and it's all good.
Yes, sir. Now, continuing back onto that offensive line. Sorry, guys, for getting off track. Who else do you see on that line outside of Jenkins?
I mean, Braxton Jones is the big story. Left tackle starting as a rookie. He looked good, too. He's got some issues with anchoring. In the first two preseason games, he's getting, the bull rush has got him. That's a technique thing because he has the size, he has the strength. You know, he'll get there. It's just a matter of him working through some of those issues. But, man, a starting left tackle for the Chicago Bears. If he starts week 1, he'll be the first starting left tackle rookie since in 30 years.
No way.
Yeah, Troy Auzine was the last left tackle that started as a rookie for the Bears week 1.
Someone I've never even heard of.
I think you weren't even born. See?
That's why you got to make me seem all young, dude.
There you go. Because I'm old, man. It's all good.
All right, who else do we got? Especially for the center play. Are we going to see Whitehair, Mustipher?
Mustipher is going to be your center.
I know you're high on him out of Notre Dame.
Lucas Patrick's they signed to be the center. Thumb injury, like I talked about at the top of the show. He'll be fine. They hope he's back for week 1, but again, it's a thumb, so you got to see how he snaps. Sam Mustipher is okay. He has a lot of experience in this league. He did get himself in a different body shape because this regime wants, they want faster players. They're not looking for size. The old regime wanted big, they wanted you to put on weight. That's why with Jenkins was up to to 350 because they want size, mass, because that's their philosophy. This philosophy is all about being quick. It's a outside zone scheme, so they want your guys moving. Mustipher put the work in. I like him as a football player. He puts in a lot of work. He understands the game. He's very smart. He's better as a backup. So I think once Lucas Patrick returns to play center, I think Mustipher goes back to the bench. Then you got to figure out what happens at right tackle. Right now it's Larry Borum. Looks like he may have that.
They've been high on him.
He's bounced around quite a bit in camp, in the offseason, right to left. I thought they were grooming him to be their swing tackle. That's what I thought. But he's playing well enough now to where Riley Reef, who they signed as a veteran, he has played both sides. He may be your swing tackle. So you may have a starting right side of Borum and Jenkins. And if you're the Bears, you have two young guys at that spot. That's good news.
How confident do you think let me retract that statement because we can't speak on what someone else thinks. But how confident are you in this group and their ability to protect Justin Fields?
50-50. I mean, it's still, again, like the secondary, like a lot of question marks on this team. It's still young players. You're talking a rookie at left tackle, second-year pro at right tackle. Tevin Jenkins, he hasn't played right guard since, I think, really early on in his college career, so now he's still learning a new position. Mustipher's working through some issues. So, Cody Whitehair at left guard, solid pro. other than that, man, a lot of question marks. I think if they're allowed to play and gel and really work on each other, understanding each other, because offensive line is a team within a team, right? Mm-hmm. You got to know what the guy next to you is doing. You got to trust them. I think they'll get there. I think they'll be better than a lot of fans think. A lot of national media are really, down on that. Mm-hmm. I think they'll be fine. They're not going to be a top group, but I think within the offensive scheme, run heavy, play action, move Justin Fields out of the pocket. I think the continuity of that group will come together at some point, and I think they'll be okay.
Yes, sir. So you said this is a 10-win team, right? Because it's all
Stop yourself.
What?
Nah, 10 win. Nah, 6, 7.
Bro, come on. Show us some respect.
I wanna. It's a new philosophy. It's going to take some time to kind of come together. But I think, like I've been saying all offseason, one way or the other, it's going to be fun to watch. It's much different than what we've seen in the past. The old regime, just some of the ridiculous stuff we saw. It's going to be different. It's going to be fun. And if they're a 6-win team, but the arrow's definitely going up moving into the next season, I think that's good.
Yes, sir. As we get ready to close out this phenomenal episode, let's say they don't do too well. They're below 500. How much of that is on Justin Fields and his development, or does it depend on what we see from him this season?
Yeah, I mean, if he's, like I said, if he's showing stuff, if he's showing the reads improving, if he's showing his progression in the offense is getting better, if he's showing he can execute the play calls, there's only so much he can do. Now, if he takes that next step and becomes like, elite, then he'll add some wins just because of that. But I think that's too much asking a young quarterback. We want to see our quarterbacks, evolve now. Oh, he was drafted as a rookie. Play him. Let's go. I want him. It takes time. That's a hard spot to learn. He's learning, and now his second offense in 2 years. So it's going to take him some time. But like I've said all along, I think he's the guy. It's just going to take a little while to get there.
And what makes it so hard, people, please do not forget, what makes it so hard is Chicago has not had that identity at quarterback since when? When would you say? Because if you want to say the best person was Jay Cutler, was that like the last best quarterback that we've had?
Sid Luckman in 1940s. So, the quarterback spot in Chicago has been like, there's been some guys, but
and then when these great quarterbacks do get drafted into a situation, they're not drafted to be the number one guy. There's very few in between, and when you do go there, you're there to sit behind someone and learn the ropes, take that mentorship role, and just watch the game and watch how it's played. Because if you look at players like Aaron Rodgers, who was there, Brett Favre when he got there, right? Yeah. Let's say Dak Prescott, Tony Romo was there. When Tom Brady got there, was it Drew Bledsoe? You get in these positions where there's people there to be able to condition you to play football and for you to be able to watch. And Chicago just hasn't had that. So a lot of people just really need to be patient when it comes to the process of Justin Fields, just in my belief.
No, 100%. I mean, the evolution of a quarterback is not linear. There is no draft him now, he's a stud by this time. Every quarterback's different. Every situation is different. And I think Justin Fields is just a great fit for this offense. And I think we're going to see him do some really nice things this year.
And don't forget, obviously the salary cap, too, will be much different after this season as well, too. So they'll be able to go out there and get big names and be able to get more people. And maybe Chicago will be a luxury destination for people, right?
Well, I mean, if Justin Fields shows something this year, there's going to be some fans, some players that want to come play in Chicago because they want to be with Justin Fields. If they see the arrow pointing up on the franchise, Chicago's a big market, man. If you're good in Chicago, that's a big deal. I mean, I can't even imagine what's going to happen if Justin Fields becomes at an elite level because Chicago has never had a quarterback like that. Jay Cutler was brought in to be the guy. He was very popular among fans, but he had his up and down. Jim McMahon in the 80s, he had some injury issues, but
Super Bowl winning.
Such a popular player amongst fans because you're the quarterback in the city of Chicago. So if Justin Fields becomes that guy and he does it at an elite level, I mean, he could be the face, one of the faces of the NFL if he gets to that level.
Yes, sir. Go ahead and shout out your social media handles where the fans can follow you at on Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be.
I am on Twitter at WiltfongJR. Of course, everything I do is at WindyCityGridiron.com. Our video channel is Second City Gridiron. Our podcast channel is Windy City Gridiron. We just got a lot of cool stuff going on this year. Obviously, Bears coverage 24/7.
And you can follow me, everything at Line for Line Podcast.
You calling or you listening, tune in every week. Line for line. Oh yeah, I'm going line for line.